Nitai Gauranga Bolo, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Bolo, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Without the mercy and blessings of Nityānanda, we can't enter into Radha Krishna Seva.
Yesterday that we're having twice today. Oh. We're having now and also in the evening.
So they said at 4 o'clock?
No. You can also bring chairs for the elderly. So today, is a very happy day. Do you know why? It is a happy day. You're not allowed to be unhappy today.
Okay.
Even if you have the biggest problems in the whole universe, you're not allowed to be unhappy today. Do you know why?
Because it's the Guru appearance of Guru Tattva. Nityānanda from
That's one good thing. Anyone else?
Maharaj is sitting.
What?
Maharaj is sitting there, he can answer.
No, I'm asking all of you. Anyone can speak. Maharaj can speak, anyone can speak.
There are so many reasons, but Nityānanda means Nityānanda is always in happiness and Nityānanda.
Yeah.
And he can do as Guru Tattva also to deliver. Guru.
But Nityānanda may be always in Nityānanda, but what about us?
So he comes in the form of Guru.
Huh?
Comes in the form of Guru.
To do what?
Deliver us, just make us all happy.
And make us happy.
Yes. Make us all happy.
Yes. Yeah, Narottam Das Thakur, he's also praying. Narottam Boro Duki Nitai More Koro Suki Rako Ranga Charanera Pash. Oh Nitai. This is Narottam Das Thakur, our highest authority. Narottam Das Thakur, and he's praying in the song Nitai Pada Kamalam. Narottam Baroduki. This Narottam is very, very unhappy. Narottam Baroduki. I'm very duki, full of suffering and unhappiness. Nitai More Koro Suki. Oh Nitai, make me happy. How will you make me happy? Rako Ranga Charanera Pash. Keep me always in the reddish toes of your lotus feet. Rako Ranga Charanera Pasha. Your lotus feet are reddish. So I want to always be there under your lotus feet, O Nitai. And it is impossible in such a position to be unhappy. You know who can attest to this fact? Jagai and Madhai. They are the witnesses. They can give their testimonial because they were completely delivered from the most miserable suffering condition and all future lifetimes, punishment for all their sinful activities. But these two personalities became saved. They were rescued by Nityānanda. And only because Nityānanda rescued them and saved them, therefore Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he accepted them. Otherwise he was going to kill them. He was going to kill them. But because they surrendered at the lotus feet of Nityānanda, especially Jagai, first Jagai, because Jagai tried to stop Madhava. So Mahaprabhu said, oh, Jagai has done that? Oh, then I will save him. And he embraced Jagai. And Jagai became completely overwhelmed with praying. Yeah. And then Madhai said, oh my Lord, we were both partners in all of these sinful activities. So you have to also give mercy to me. Mahaprabhu said, no. You've offended my Nityānanda. And my Nityānanda is non-different than my own body. There is no difference. You have offended my Nityānanda. And you have drawn blood from his forehead. I cannot give you. You will have to go to him. And then he fell at the feet of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu. And Nityānanda Prabhu forgave him. And because Nityānanda Prabhu completely forgave him, then Mahaprabhu gave him praying. And after Jagai and Madhai were given praying, oh, that's such an amazing, amazing pastime. Such an amazing pastime. Never mind about the garland. That doesn't matter. Just pay attention. So, anyway, today is the appearance day of Sri Nityānanda Ram. And we're going to hear about him today. We're going to try to hear as much as is humanly possible on this day. Hear about this. No. No. You're our guest. This is my class and you're our guest. No, it broke. See? Proves it. Shri Guru Gauranga, Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai, Shri Lakshmi Varahadeva Ki Jai, Jai Shri Nityānanda Ram Ki Jai, Shri Nityānanda Trayodaśī Ki Jai, Transcendental Appearance of the most merciful personality, Shri Nityānanda Ram Ki Jai. Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Srila Bhakti Balabhatirtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Bhakti Dayata Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnav Sarvam Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Shri Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charja Baladev Vijayabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivasyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Swarup Damodar Roy Ramanandadi Gaura Parshada Vrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Bho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Shri Nityānanda Rama Ki Jai Nityānanda Trayodaśī Ki Jai Shri Avirbhav Mahamahotsav Titi Shri Nityānanda Prabhu Ki Jai Patita Pavana Shri Nityānanda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Antaradvip, Mayapur, Simantadvip, Godamdvip, Madhyadvip, Proladvip, Ritadvip, Janadvip, Modamdvip, Rudadvipatmaka, Shri Navadvip, Dama ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Govardhan Dvadashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dama ki. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki. Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu ki. Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu ki. Shrimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashtasaki Vrinda ki. Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda ki. Shrimati Brinda Devi ki. Shrimati Purnamasi Yoga Maya Devi ki. Shri Gopi Swar Mahadeva ki. Sarva Bhishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhana ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Purushottam Kshetra Dhama ki. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsinga Deva ki. Bhakta Brother Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki. Charudam Charu Sampradaya Charu Acharya ki. Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Aur Ananya Shaka Mat Samuha ki jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Tribhuvana Pavana Harinama Sankirtana ki jai. Tribhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Shri Nityānanda Mahajana ki jai. Shri Pancha Tattva ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun. You can close that door, too much sound. Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Mahabhajanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Trishe Namaha. Nityānandam Namastubhyam Prem Ananda Pradayane Kalau Kalamashanashaya Janavapataye Namaha. Nityānandamaham Nomi Sarvanandakaram Param Harinama Pradam Devam Avadhuta Shiromanim Sankarshanakaranatho Yashai Garbhodashai Chapayogdashai Sheshascha Yasyang Sakala Sanitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu. Ajanulam Vitabujo Kanakavadato Samkirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Jugadharma Palo Bande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityānanda Sahodito Gaudaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shamdo Tamodo Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Suruto Bangor Mama Mandavatir Gati Vatsarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madanamohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Shrimad Ratnakar Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Presthalaki Sevyamano Smaram Shrimad Rasarasadam Jivam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshana Venu Svanayar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestu Namaha Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Shri, altogether, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Gurudev Nitya Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatar Sata Shri Shila, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, who became empowered by Sri Nityānanda Shakti to bring the message of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu to the whole world. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Ashtatara Sata Shri Shila Bhakti Rakshak Shri Har Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Ashtatara Sata Shri Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami. I offer my Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Rupanuga Guru Varga, and I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all of the Vaishnavis who have come to hear the glories of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu on his divine appearance day, Sri Nityānanda Trayodaśī, when he appeared in Ekachakra Gram and performed all of his transcendental pastimes in Gaur Lila. So my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavas. So in this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he has given in the very beginning of the initial verses, first 14 verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he has given his Mangala Charan, and there he is offering his obeisances, both by his own composed shlokas as well as shlokas that are composed by Rupa Goswami and shlokas that are also composed by Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. And I was very fortunate in 1975, the first time that I came to India for the Gaur Purnima festival with our beloved Srila Prabhupada and about 500 or 600 Western devotees. That for 2 weeks we were here in Mayapur with Srila Prabhupada. And every morning he was giving class on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, first 14 shlokas. So each day for 14 days he did those shlokas. So years later I decided to recite those shlokas, and I more or less memorized a lot of those shlokas, but my memory fades. But I want to read to you the shlokas that are given in those first verses to set the tone for this appearance day of Lord Nityānanda. So the first shloka is offering obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appears in 6 different forms. Actually to Krishna. Krishna who appears in 6 different forms. Bande Gurun, Isha Bhaktan, Isham, Isha Vatarakan, Tat Prakashamscha, Tat Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters. First of all, Bande Gurun. Gurun is plural here, not singular. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, unto the devotees of the Lord. That means Isha Bhakta. Isham. That means the Lord Himself. The Lord's various incarnations, Isha Avatarakan. Tat Prakashamscha, to His Prakash, His plenary expansions. Tat Shakti, to His transcendental energies. And Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. All of these comprised together are Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the source, because he is none other than Sri Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all incarnations and avatars. Then the next shloka, Bande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityānanda Sahodito. Now Krishnadas Kaviraj is offering his obeisances to Nityānanda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu together. Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shamdo Tamonudo. I am offering my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityānanda, who are like the sun and the moon. And they have arisen, just like the sun and the moon arise, they have arisen simultaneously, together. Where? On the horizon of Gaudadesh. Here, in Gaudadesh. And what have they come for? To dissipate the darkness of ignorance. Tamo nudo means to destroy the ignorance, the darkness. Tamo nudo. Sham chitro shamdo tamo nudo. Shamdo means to bestow benedictions on everyone. Just like the sun and the moon, they are not partial to anyone. Their sun, their rays are going to all. So, chitro, in a very wonderful way, chitro shamdo, they are giving this benediction to everyone. Now, as next few verses are telling about Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yada dvaitam brahma parashadi tadapyasya tanuva ya atmantaryami purusha itasosyamsa vivava sad aishwarya purno ya iya bhagavan sasvayamayam na chaitanyat krishnat jagati paratattvam paramiha. Here in this verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj is telling about the three features of Godhead: Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. And who, this person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the same Krishna who is manifested in three features. So he is the Paramatma, he is the Brahma, he is Bhagavan himself. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is only the effulgence of his body. And the Lord, who is known as the Supersoul, is but the localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, Sad Aishwarya Purna, who is full of 6 opulences, Purna. And he is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. And then the famous verse, which many of you know, written by Rupa Goswami, Anarpita Chirim Chirat Karunaya Avatirna Kalo Samarpaitum Unatojvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratuva Sachinandanaha. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. This is Rupa Goswami in the beginning of his Vidagdha Madhava, his invocation. He's praying, may that Lord, the son of Mother Sachi, be situated in everyone's heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali, by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So much to say about each one of these verses. The whole big, thick volume, first volume, is explaining all. And now, who is he? Who is this Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Alladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanava Pibuvi Puradeha Vedam Gutoto Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Aduna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. So now, who is this Krishna Swarup? Naumi Krishna Swarupam. I'm offering my namaha to this form of Krishna, Krishna Swarup, who is none other than Krishna, who has taken the beautiful color and effulgence and the moods in the heart of Srimati Radharani. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. And although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. And now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Then the verse that tells the 3 reasons why Krishna descended. We talked about this on the appearance day of Sri Advaitacharya. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yena Bhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya Sokyam Chasyam Mad Anubhavatash Kidrisham Veti Lopat Tadbhavadya Samajani Sachigarva Sindho Harindu. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness that she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, he appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. For these three reasons, main reasons, Krishna descended as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now, 5 shlokas about Lord Nityananda come. Sankarshana Karanato Yashai, Garbo Dashai, Chapayo Dashai, Sheshascha Yasyang Sakala Sanitya, Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu. 5 forms that Lord Nityananda Ram manifests as. Why is he called Nityananda Ram? At the end of each verse, now we're going to be hearing Nityananda Ram. Because who is he? Who is Nityananda? He is Balaram. He is Balaram, and who is Balaram? First expansion of Krishna. And we will hear this 5th chapter of the Adi Lila. It gives extensively so much wonderful description of how Lord Balaram expands and all the different pastimes that in his various expansions he is performing, even up to the point of manifesting the Vaikuntha planets, manifesting the material creation, and entering the creation in the 3 Purusha forms, and ultimately Sheshanag, who is simply looking after Krishna's comforts. Sheshanag, unlimited Sheshanag, Ananta Sheshanag. So, yes, here in this one verse, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, he's praying to Nityananda Ram. He says, may Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie in the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and the ocean of milk, they are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. Then the next one is telling about how that Nityananda Rama is situated in beyond Vaikuntha. How he's situated there, and how from there he manifests the 4 quadruple expansions of Godhead, from whom everything emanates. All existence. So here he's telling, Mayati te vyapi Vaikuntha loke, Purnaishwarye Shri Chaturvyuha madhye, Rupam yasyodbhati sankarshanakyam, Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam prapadye. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Shri Nityānanda Ram, who is known as Sankarsha in the midst of the Chaturvyuha. So that's the first expansion of Balaram, expands as Chaturvyuha, as Sankarsha. Yes. And he possesses full opulence, and he resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond this material creation. So first paying obeisances to that form, that first expansion in Dwarka, Mool Sankarshan. Everything is all explicitly, elaborately explained in all the purports to these shlokas. Then he explains about how from the original form in Vaikuntha, he is now expanding and beginning the process of creation of the material universes. Maya Barka Janda Sangashrayanga Shete Sakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye Yasyaikam Shakshri Kuman Adi Devas Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityānanda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karanadakshay Vishnu. Who's Karanadakshay Vishnu? What's another name of Karanadakshay Vishnu? Mahavishnu. So his partial representation, called Karanadakshay Vishnu, who is lying on the Karana ocean, he is the original Purusha, and he is the master of illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. Then he's paying obeisances to the form that expands from Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Yasyam Sham Shak Srila Garbhodashai Yamnapyabjam Loka Sangatanalam Loka Shrashtu Sutikadama Datus Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. Everyone can say, Tam Shri Nityānanda, Tam Shri Nityānanda, Ramam Prapadye, Ramam Prapadye. Tam Shri Nityānanda, Ramam Prapadye, Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye, Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the lotus feet of Nityānanda Ram. A partial part of him is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, who is the engineer of the universe. And the stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. We're living on one of them. It's all coming from the stem, coming from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, also known as Padmanabha Vishnu. And finally, we come to Sheshanaga and also the Kiradakshay Vishnu. Yasyam Sham Sham Shak Paramatma Kilanam Poshta Vishnurabhati Dugdabdishai Kshoni Bharata Yat Kala Sopyanantas Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye, Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. Again, Tam Shri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Shri Nityānanda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That Kiradakshay Vishnu is the super soul of all living entities. And he is the maintainer of all the universes. Sheshanaga is his further sub-part. So, what's the sequence? Krishna expands as? No. Krishna expands as who? Balaram. Who? Balaram expands as who? Who? Say Mool Sankarshan. In Dwarka. And from him come all the Vaikuntha planets. Then that Mool Sankarshan expands into the four expansions: Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And now he expands as a second group of the four expansions in Vaikuntha. First group is what? Mool Sankarshan and the Mool Chaturvyuha. Then that Chaturvyuha expands into Vaikuntha, as the what? Mahasankarshan. And that second group of the 4 expansions of Vishnu, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, now they expand into all the Vaikuntha planets, on every single Vaikuntha planet. Every single, and there's unlimited numbers of Vaikuntha planets, for your information. There's unlimited number, you can't count them. And each Vaikuntha planet is bigger than our universe. So just try to think of that. Don't even try. Don't even try. This is in the realm of what? Achintya. You cannot think about it with your tiny little brain. This tiny little brain. And even when we become transcendentally realized, completely inconceivable also. Everything. Everything is inconceivable. That's a very good thing, that everything is very inconceivable. Because then we cannot become puffed up. Right? So then from that second quadruple, that Mahasankarshan in Vaikuntha, then he expands as who? Karana Dakashai Vishnu. Say that. Mahavishnu. And what comes from Mahavishnu? All the universes. Is he working very laboriously to create all the universes? Is he working very hard, like it says in the Bible, that God had to really work hard? He became so tired, and on the 7th day he had to rest. Oh my God. No! What is he doing? He's lying in what? Yoga Nidra. Mystic sleep. And he's simply sleeping blissfully, ecstatically. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And guess what comes out during one of his breaths? All the universes. One breath, all the universes go out. And with his inhalation, all the universes again come in. Out and in, and out and in, eternally. And we are only living 100 years. But Lord Brahma, who is the Brahma of this universe, he lives for about 511 trillion years. Trillion! And his existence of his whole span of life is one breath of Mahavishnu. So that's called absolute, supreme truth, from whom everything comes, by whom everything is maintained, and in the end by whom everything is destroyed. So, that Mahavishnu, what does he do next? From Mahavishnu comes who? Who comes from Mahavishnu? Who? Garbo Dakshai Vishnu. Say that. And what does he do? From his body, he enters the universe. From his body comes what? Water. Water. And he fills up the entire bottom half of the universe with the water from his body. And then he lies down on who? Ananta Shesha. There, on the ocean. And he's also having a very good time. And simply, by his desire, a lotus flower sprouts up from his navel and situates there. And who is born on the lotus flower? Brahma. And what is inside of the lotus stem? The stem of the lotus flower, what's inside of that? All the planets of the universe. that Brahma will take from the stem and he will manifest all the energies and planets and so forth in the universe. All comes from the stem of Garbhodakṣai Vishnu. And then he expands himself. Garbhodakṣai Vishnu expands himself as who? Who? Trayodaśī Vishnu. Say that. And what does he do? Where does he go? No. Why is he called Trayodaśī? Because he's on an ocean of milk in our universe. Kir means milk. Better it means sweet rice and so many things. But without milk you cannot make any. Alright, so now he's situated there in the planet and he is alone there, except Sheshanag is always there with him. And what does he do? He expands himself into every single atomic particle in the universe. Can you imagine? No, you cannot imagine. But that's what he does. Every tiny little particle of the universe, he's there inside of that. How do we know? Because Brahma told this in the Brahma Samhita. What did he say? Andantarasta paramanuchayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He is inside of the paramanu. That means the atom, the atomic particle. And also, where does he also expand himself? Every single jivatma. There are unlimited numbers, trillions, zillions, quadrillions of jivatmas in our universe, just in this universe. Uncountable number. He expands into the heart of each and every jivatma. Try to find that in any other literature. In any other religious conception. No, you will not find it. Only the Vedic conception, and only the essence of the Vedic conception is telling everything about this creation, what's beyond this creation, how does the Lord create, how does the Lord maintain, everything is told. One day, the world is going to learn about this, because Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda Prabhu descended 500 years ago. And that's why the whole world is going to know about Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now, in this Kali Yuga, just 50-something years ago, our Srila Prabhupada came to the West by the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and now the teachings are manifested everywhere. Everywhere. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, everything, everywhere. And all the books of the Goswamis. Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj came and gave the necessary literatures for all future generations of Vaishnavas. Yes, all future generations will be reading these books. Everything is given. And now you can have it on one tiny little screen in front of you, anywhere that you're sitting on this planet. So that's because of Chaitanya and Nityānanda. And especially Nityānanda. Because if Nityānanda would not have prayed for Jagai and Madhai, then Mahaprabhu would have destroyed all of us. Yeah. Because we're all Jagais and Madhais in this Kali Yuga. So if Nityānanda Prabhu would not have said, "No, my Lord, please give them mercy." He was about to kill them with the Sudarshan Chakra. We have that beautiful diorama. He was about to kill them. And Nityānanda Prabhu, with blood dripping, "No, my Lord." So Nityānanda Prabhu expands himself into all these forms, and finally as Sheshanaga. And as Sheshanaga, he is supporting all the planetary systems on his heads. But he doesn't realize that they're there. He's practically unaware. The great burden of all the planets, they're resting on his heads. Like a mustard seed. You would not even feel it on your head. Yeah. So in this way, the Chaitanya Charitamrita begins with this tattva. Chaitanya Bhagavat, a little bit different. Chaitanya Bhagavat is so much lila and pastimes. But in the first chapter, what does Krishna, Vrindavan Das Thakur do? He glorifies Lord Nityānanda for more than half of the chapter. And he begins the chapter with that verse that I recited, Ajanu Lambita Bujo Kanakavadato. That's the invocation verse, that these two lords have descended in this age of Kali. And they are the what? Ajanu Lambita Bujo Kanakavadato. They have beautiful golden complexion, Kanakavadato, and Ajanu Lambita Bujo, very long arms. When you go to Gurudev's entrance to the Samadhi on the front side, and you look up, you see the Panchatattva. And they are so beautiful because they're formed and shaped exactly by the artists who made them, exactly with the proportions. Their chest, their waist, their foreheads, their nose, everything, all the proportions, and especially their arms. I love to see them every day. I go there. And Mahaprabhu is very big. Nityānanda also very big. Yes. So these two are Krishna and Balaram. That's the main point being made in both Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. These two are Krishna and Balaram. They are none other than them. Yes. So the Chaitanya Bhagavat is written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And who is the guru of Vrindavan Das Thakur? Nityānanda Prabhu. You didn't know that. He's his guru. He's the guru of Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Vrindavan Das Thakur is also the Vyasadeva of Chaitanya Leela. And later on, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami confirms this fact. And he offers obeisances to Vrindavan Das Thakur, who gave all the early pastimes of Mahaprabhu. If Vrindavan Das Thakur would not have written that, we would not know anything about Mahaprabhu's early pastimes. So therefore, Chaitanya Bhagavat has the pastimes of Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, up to the sannyas of Mahaprabhu, and then Anja Leela is short. So what did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami do? He paid obeisances, and he only spoke more details about what was not told by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Okay? So, and then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the 5th chapter, I was just reading it this morning, in the 5th chapter of Adi Leela, that's the chapter all about Nityānanda Tattva. And toward the end of the chapter he said, there is no one as merciful as Lord Nityānanda. In that chapter is told all of these, what we just told in short, how Krishna expands Lord, how all these different tattvas is like an incredible tattva. But the Leela, at the end of the chapter, now he begins to say that I want to tell a story of Lord Nityānanda. Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, but really, it should not be told. It's too confidential. But I must tell it. I must tell it. And then he tells the story that once Lord Nityānanda came to the village where he and his brother were living. And his brother had in a temple there, and there was a pujari also in that temple who was doing the puja. And a devotee, a very great devotee of Lord Nityānanda, came there to that temple. And what was that devotee's name? Minaketana Ram Das. Minaketana Ram Das. Yes. And Minaketana Ram Das was one of the 12 Dvadasha Gopals in Gaur Leela. The 12 cowherd boys who were the personal associates of Lord Balaram, they now appeared in Gaur Leela. And Minaketana Ram Das was one of them. Minaketana Ram Das had a flute. If he touched anyone with that flute, you would get Krishna prey. That's how powerful, yes, that's how powerful the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are. We sing it every day, don't we? Don't we sing it every day in that Vaishnava Vandana song? That each and every associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so powerful that they can deliver an entire universe. Yes. Yes. So, he tells the story that one day Nityānanda Ramdas came to that village and he was offering obeisances to the deity in the temple. And he was full of ecstasy because Nityānanda Ramdas, he always has tears in his eyes of ecstasy because he is associated with Nityānanda. And what happened was the pujari disrespected this personality, Nityānanda Ramdas. And the brother, whose place it was, of Krishnadas Kaviraj, he doesn't mention his name, his brother also supported that. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, first then Nityānanda Ramdas became very upset. He became very, very upset that he was disrespecting Nityananda Prabhu. And then Nityānanda Ramdas broke his flute and he left that place. And then what happened? Krishnadas Kaviraj said to his brother, you are such a culprit. You don't have faith in Lord Nityananda. You have some faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but you don't even have a little glimmer of faith in Nityananda Prabhu. And your logic is like the logic of half of a hen. You cannot get eggs from a half of a hen. So your logic is like that. You cannot respect Lord Chaitanya and then disrespect Lord Nityananda, or vice versa. It is a very, very great offense that you have committed, and because you have committed such a great offense, you are going to fall down. And then he left. And that night, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he had a dream wherein Lord Nityananda personally appeared to him in that dream. Give me 1 second, I'm just going to find it.
We need a chair, please.
I have one.
Chair.
There is a stool.
Can the young lady here? Over here.
So, Jai Ashram Maharaj ki Jai. Can you bring something for the cold floor? Do you have any cloth or anything?
Right here. There's a whole big
Cloth here.
Prabhu, are you okay on the floor?
Yeah.
Huh? Your back is okay?
Yeah,
The old and grey ones have the permission to sit on chairs. So, continuing what we're telling, thus Sri Ram Das, Nityānanda Ramdas, broke his flute in anger, and he went away. And at that time, my brother fell down. I have thus described the power of the servants of Lord Nityananda, and now I shall describe another characteristic of his mercy. That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. In the village of Jamatpur, which is near Naihati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. I fell at his feet, offering my obeisances, and he then placed his own lotus feet upon my head. Now I want you to know that when this volume was being produced, all the ISKCON artists were painting paintings. And the devotees who painted the painting of this depiction of this dream, they did a fantastic job. You have to look at that. 18 in the Adi Lila. What is being described in his dream. So, when Nityananda Prabhu came to him in my dream, I fell at his feet, offering my obeisances, and then he placed his lotus feet upon my head. Arise, get up, he told me again and again. And upon arising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. He had a glossy, blackish complexion. Blackish complexion. Did you hear that? Yes. He had a glossy, blackish complexion, and his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. He had beautifully formed hands, arms and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore tinkling anklets on his feet, and he wore a garland of flowers around his neck. His body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilak. His movements surpassed those of a maddened elephant. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing betel. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted, Krishna, Krishna, in a deep voice. His red-colored stick was in his hand, and he seemed like a maddened lion. And all around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. His devotees, dressed like cowherd boys, they surrounded his feet like so many bees. And they also chanted, Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Some of them played horns and flutes, and others danced and sang, and some of them offered betel nuts, and others waved chamara fans about him. And thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda's Swarup. His wonderful form, qualities and pastimes are all transcendental. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. And then Lord Nityananda smiled, and he spoke to me as follows. Oh, my dear Krishna Das, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things. And after saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavan by waving his hand. And then he disappeared with his associates. And then I fainted, and I fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. And I thought about what I had seen and heard, and I concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavan at once. That very second, I started for Vrindavan, and by His mercy, I reached there in great happiness. Now he glorifies Lord Nityānanda. Jai, Jai, Nityānanda, Nityānanda Ram. Jahara Kripate Painu Vrindavana Dham. All glory to Lord Nityānanda Balaram. by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. Jai Jai Nityānanda Jaya Kripamoy Jaha Hoite Painu Rupa Sanatan Ashray. All glory to the merciful Lord Nityānanda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. By his mercy I have attained the shelter of the great personality, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and by his mercy I have found the refuge of Sri Swarup Damodar. And by the mercy of Sanatana Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of the devotional service, and by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. Jai Jai Nityānanda Charanaravinda Jaha Hoite Painu Sri Radha Govinda. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityānanda, by whose mercy I have attained Sri Radha Govinda. Now, the very famous verses that all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas know by heart practically, especially Bengali Vaishnavas, they know these next three verses. Because now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami talks about himself in the most self-deprecating way. Jagai madhai hoite mui se papishta, purisher kita hoite mui se lagishta. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. And I'm even lower than the worms in the stool. Mornam shuni jay tar punyakshoy. Mornam loy jay tar papoy. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Emona nigrina more keva kripa kore. Ek Nityānanda vinu jagat vitari. Who in this world but Nityānanda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Preme matta Nityānanda kripa avatar. Uttam adham kichuna kore vichar. Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love, and he is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him, and therefore he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. And although I am sinful, and I am the most fallen, he has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami. I am not fit to speak all these confidential words about my visiting Lord Madan Gopal and Lord Govinda. Lord Madan Gopal, the chief deity of Vrindavan, is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Braja. He enjoys the rasa dance with Srimati Radharani, Sri Lalita, and others. And he manifests himself as the Cupid of Cupids. Who's doing this? Madan Gopal. Wearing yellow garments and decorated with a flower garland, Lord Krishna, appearing among the gopis with his smiling lotus face, he looked directly like the charmer of the heart of Cupid. With Radha and Lalita serving him on his two sides, he attracts the hearts of all by his own sweetness. The mercy of Lord Nityānanda showed me Sri Madan Mohan and gave me Sri Madan Mohan as my Lord and Master. He granted to a person as low as me the sight of Lord Govinda. Words cannot describe this, nor is it fit to be disclosed. on an altar made of gems in the principal temple of Vrindavan, amidst a forest of desire trees, Lord Govinda, the son of the king of Braja, sits upon a throne of gems and manifests his full glory and sweetness, thus enchanting the entire world. And by his left side is Srimati Radharani and her personal friends, and with them Lord Govinda enjoys the Ras Leela and many other pastimes. Lord Brahma, sitting on his lotus seat in his own abode, he always meditates on him, and he worships him with the mantra consisting of 18 syllables. And what is that mantra? Gopal mantra. Everyone in the 14 worlds meditates upon him, and all the denizens of Vaikuntha sing of his qualities and pastimes. The goddess of fortune is attracted by his sweetness, which Srila Rupa Goswami has described in this way. How did Rupa Goswami describe the sweetness of Lord Govinda? He said, "My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshivat. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs, and his transcendental body, bending in 3 places, appears very bright in the moonlight." So this verse is Srila Rupa Goswami's verse. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling how he has attained all these things, by whose mercy? Lord Nityānanda. And without a doubt, he goes on to say, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, without a doubt, he, that Lord Govinda, is directly the son of the king of Braj, and only a fool considers him to be a statue. And for that offense, that person cannot be liberated. Rather, he will fall into a terrible hellish condition. What more should I say? So therefore, who can describe the mercy of the lotus feet of him, Lord Nityānanda, by whom I have attained the shelter of this Lord Govinda? All the groups of the Vaishnavas who live in Vrindavan, they are absorbed in chanting the all-auspicious name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityānanda are the life and soul of those Vaishnavas who do not know anything but devotional service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. The dust and the shade of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas have been granted to this fallen soul by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. And Lord Nityānanda said, in Vrindavan, all things are possible. So here, I have explained his brief statement in detail. I have attained all this by coming to Vrindavan, and this was made possible by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. And I have described my own story without any reservations. The attributes of Lord Nityānanda, making me like a madman, force me to write these things. So this is how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains the mercy of Lord Nityānanda, through whom he has attained the ultimate attainment that anyone can attain in all time and space in the entire creation. By being blessed by Nityānanda to enter Vrindavan and to attain shelter and mercy there. From who? Madan Gopal, Govinda, Gopinath, all the Vaishnavas there, Rupa, Sanatan, everything was attained by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. So in this way, this is only the tiny, tiny little tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg of trying to even begin the glorification of Lord Nityānanda. But I wanted to read these authentic statements by the two great authorities themselves, Vrindavan Das Thakur and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Without their manifesting Chaitanya Charitamrita, we would not know anything, or Chaitanya Bhagavat, about these two lords, Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In both of these cases, Lord Nityananda was the cause. Lord Nityananda is the cause of Chaitanya Bhagavat manifesting, because he's the guru of Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he just told. Later on, he tells the story of how the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan requested him to write the later pastimes. And that whole story about how Madan Mohan actually, through the mercy of Nityananda, he attained the shelter of Madan Mohan, and Madan Mohan actually blessed him that he should write Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes. So, Lord Nityananda Ram, this is his transcendental appearance day, and he appeared in Ekachakra. And our Sajan, Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj knows a lot about what Lord Nityananda used to do in Ekachakra. How Lord Nityananda grew up there in his childhood. And what did he do in his childhood? Did he just play football and all these things? No. Now we're going to hear from Sajan Maharaj how Lord Nityananda grew up there in Ekachakra.
Joy is God. That was wonderful. Jnanakamandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshu Umlitam Vena Tasmai Sri Gurve Kurve Kuru Chandrai Radhikaya Tatale Krishnai Krishna Bhakta Tad Bhakta Mona Vanchakaputrubhischa Kripasiddhya Patitanam Bhavyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Nityānanda Namastubhyam Padmanabha Swami Karo Kamashanasaya Janvapate Namah. Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhattaragana Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Ragana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare First of all, I offer my Dandavat Sastang pranams, unlimited times. My Guru Padmanabha Nityānanda Prabhupada Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my Sannyasi Shiksha Gurudev Nityānanda Prabhupada Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Nine Goswami Maharaj Nityānanda Prabhupada Srimad Bhaktivedanta Brahman Goswami Maharaj, our Shiksha Gurus, all the acharyas line, Shri Chaitanya Prabhu, all the assembled devotees, headed by Sannyasi Gaon, my dear godbrother Shri Bhaktivedanta Padmanabha Maharaj, and my Sannyas Guru Bhai Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Ashram Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. So we could go on forever. Nityānanda, also his glories are Nitya, unlimited. So, since there's not so much time, I'll speak briefly about some of Nityananda's transcendental childhood pastimes. So, Nityānanda was born, as Maharaj said, in Ekachakra. It's like a 5-hour drive from here. How many of you have been to Ekachakra? So we can go there by mind. Ekachakra Dham. So he took birth to fortune, he appeared in Ekachakra Dham to Hadai Pandit Prabhu and also Padmanabha. Such a transcendental. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Kama Chanayvidam Evam Yoga Tattata Chatpadun Gunar Pranar Janma Naitima Metu Surjana. To understand the transcendental nature of the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Lord, to understand this, then we don't have to take birth again. And then in the same chapter he gives the reason for the Lord's advent. Yada yada dharmasha kalarnya bharati bharatam abhutanam dharmasha tadatmajam srijanayam. That Krishna comes millennium after millennium in order to establish religious principles when there's decline of dharma. He comes to re-establish that. And he comes to enact his pastimes to attract all living entities to this auspicious reality of servitorship to the Supreme Lord, which we've forgotten. So, we've heard, what's the verse? Vijayananda, Hailo Shri,
Vijayananda Jay, Sachi Sutta,
Balaram Poilo Nitai. Sri Krishna, Vijayananda, Yashodanandana, Nandanandana, Krishna comes as Sri Sachi Sutta, son of Sachi. And Balaram comes as Nityānanda Prabhu. So we've heard some nice tattvas, truths about the unlimited glories of Lord Nityānanda, which are completely achintya, inconceivable. So he enacts his Naravat Leela of appearing in Ekachakra to Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. Such a transcendental personality, Nityānanda has advented there, and non-different from Balaram, non-different from Lakshman, Sri Nityānanda Prabhu has mercifully come to Gauda Desh to assist his brother and the rest of the Panchatattva in establishing Prema Dharma and the most merciful understanding in this age of Kali. The highest thing to the most unqualified. So he was an amazing child throughout his birth was transcendental and his character was transcendental and all auspicious signs on his body, as Maharaj explained. Elongated arms, beautiful characteristics, beautiful lotus-like eyes, effulgent features, and he was a wonderful, wonderful transcendental boy in Ekachakra. And one of the most amazing things that Vrindavan Thakur explains, because he has written, Krishnadas Kaviraj gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Vrindavan Das Thakur, Vyasadeva himself, has given us Nityānanda Charitamrita. Nityānanda Charitamrita. Very wonderful. So in the first chapter, he explains how Nityānanda, as a boy, he was so attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. And he would organize with the boys in his village. They would put on these dramas of Krishna's, all the way from his birth. From the very marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki, and then them being in prison, and they enacted being in a dark prison. Now Krishna appeared before Devaki, and then he was assumed, that was a foreign form, but he assumed a baby, and then he was taken by Vasudeva to Mathura in exchange. He gives that analysis of Krishna's appearance, and through nectarian drama pastimes, very, very meticulous pastimes. They couldn't imagine. He gave so many wonderful pastimes with his friends of Krishna killing Putana and liberating different demons in Vrindavan, lifting Govardhan Hill, all the pastimes. Not only the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram, sending cows in the forest, etc., but also of Ram Leela. Ram Leela, extensive Ram Leela. The boys, friends of Nityānanda Prabhu, they would assume forms and dress up like monkeys and bears, and they would assist Hanuman and Sugriva in building the bridge to Lanka to rescue Sita. And then he accompanies Lord Hanuman goes there, and anyway there's a fight with Hanuman and etc. that was enacted, and then as Lakshman, Nityānanda takes the role of Lakshman, and he's engaging with fights with Ravana. And there's one point in this drama which is very amazing. Ravana shoots him with a Shivajara weapon, and Lakshman is hit by that weapon, and he goes unconscious. So Nityānanda in this drama goes unconscious. He seems dead, and the news reaches his parents. And Hadai Pandit and Padmanabha come there, and they're weeping, "Oh, our son has left us, our son has left us." And then an intelligent person in the village says, "What was going on?" "We were doing a drama, etc., etc." And so the person said, "Well, what did Nityānanda instruct?" "Oh, he instructed one boy, when I get hit with this weapon and I go unconscious, one boy will enact himself as Hanuman and go to the go to the planets where there's a special medicine, Sanjeevani, to give, and then I will be relieved of this state and effect of this weapon of Ravana." So they instructed devotee to do that, and he's blocked by two demons on the way, and so Hanuman, he overcomes these, and he comes back and he gives that medicine to Nityānanda, who's lying unconscious, and then Nityānanda miraculously wakes up, and so the villagers were amazed at the detail. And how could a boy know so many different pastimes of Krishna, Balaram, Radha and Krishna, and also Ram Leela, and enact these pastimes? They were so enamored, and everyone in the Ekachakra, they loved Nityānanda so much. Then one day, because Hadai Pandit and Padmanabha would regularly host traveling mendicants, so one time a sannyasi came to their home and was staying for a while. So they were serving the sannyasi, and then it was time for the sannyasi to leave, and he said, "Oh, I have one request. Your boy is very nice, and he has such good qualities, and it would be good for him to serve a sannyasi, and I will travel all over the holy places of India and go to so many different sacred places, and I will train your boy very nicely." So this was like Hadai Pandit and Padmanabha said, "Are you taking our life away?" But then they were, but our duty is to serve Vaishnava. Sannyasi has come to our home and he's asked us for a gift. If we refuse him, then we're finished. So they reluctantly said, "Okay, you take our son." Okay, I'll take a pause. Do you know who this sannyasi was who came and asked for the donation of their son to travel?
No.
Sannyasi.
Yeah, my Gurudev said that.
Okay, I read today that this was actually Lakshmipati Tirtha.
Different statements in different places.
Okay, so we know different, and sometimes different kalpas too. There are so many different explanations. So, and later Nityānanda took initiation. Lakshmipati Tirtha was also the guru of Madhavendra Puripad, who's considered the root of the tree of Krishna Prem, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, etc. The root. And so Nityānanda was also a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha as well as Madhavendra Puripad. But he accepted Madhavendra Puripad, and there's a beautiful explanation of Nityananda's meeting with Madhavendra Puripad. And it's beautiful. He gave so much respect to Madhavendra Puripad, his Guru Bhai, but he accepted him like his Shiksha Guru. And there's how they embraced each other, they fell unconscious, they had so many different experiences of transcendental ecstasy in each other's association. Very nice description of this. And Vrindavan Das Thakur explains, whoever hears this description of Madhavendra Puripad and Nityananda meeting each other, they will certainly attain praying at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then it goes on, and how Nityananda, he travels through all the holy places with the sannyasi, sometimes Vishnu, sometimes Ashwabharti Tirtha, as we do. So many holy places all over India, just like Balaram during the war of Kurukshetra. Balaram didn't take place in the war of Kurukshetra. He was traveling to all different holy places in Bhartavarsha. So Nityananda also did this with the sannyasi, and instructed in so many different ways also. So then simultaneously he knew internally, as Balaram, he knew that his brother Krishna has taken birth now, and he's manifesting pastimes in Nadia. Nityananda knew this. Sri Navadvip Dham is the tranquil pastime place of Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So he arranged to come to Navadvip, and there's explanations very detailed, but I'll simply say it in brief, unless you want me to leave that for you. But just briefly, Nityananda comes to Navadvip, and that.
Can you say where he was coming from? Where did Nityananda come from? Vrindavan.
Oh yeah,
Nityananda.
That's right.
Yes, you have to mention that.
One of the last places he traveled to was Vrindavan. And he visited the 12 forests of Vrindavan, he saw the Jamuna. So on the banks of the Jamuna, there's a very famous place. It's Sringarvat, and also Nityananda, where Nityananda stayed there. And he then left there to be in Navadvip.
A voice came and told him.
That's right.
You have to say that. That's all I'm saying.
Was that Mahaprabhu speaking, the voice?
No. It just says an aerial voice came and told Nityananda that your Lord has now manifested his pastimes. Now you should go there.
Now you should go.
Yeah.
So Nityananda went there, and that same night, Nimai, Mahaprabhu, he had had a dream. And in that dream was a very effulgent chariot, and on that chariot was Sri Balaram. And Balaram manifested, and so Mahaprabhu had this understanding that some great personality has come to Navadvip. So in the morning he sent Swarup Damodar and two devotees. No. Anyway, he sent two devotees, maybe more than that even, throughout Navadvip. Right, he sent many devotees all over Navadvip to look for this transcendental personality who was coming. He didn't tell him it was his brother Balaram or Nityananda. So ultimately they spent hours and hours searching all over Navadvip, and it was Gupta, it was hidden. And so eventually, although they had all returned and said, we couldn't find any transcendental personalities arrived in Navadvip, so Mahaprabhu said, okay, come with me, let's go. And he went straight to the house of Nandacharya. And there's a transcendental, there's a whole chapter in Vrindavan Das Thakur explains of Nityananda's meeting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the first time they met. So, but Nityānanda was in a deep trance of ecstasy. So Mahaprabhu was sitting there taking on this, and then finally, who did he ask to chant the verse? He asked Srivas Thakur, Bharpidam Natavar Bapu Kanyakani Karam Vibrab Kanashat Kanakapisham Vajayantim Chama Randran Vanera Hudaya Sali. I forget a verse of it. So, a wonderful, beautiful verse how Krishna and Balaram were entering in the forest of Vrindavan, accompanied by the cows and blowing their bugles and horns and flutes, etc., etc. Accompanied by the cowherd boys and cows. So beautiful verse, and hearing this verse, Nityānanda, he arose, he woke up, and he was in ecstasy, transcendental symptoms coming from his body, horripulations, tears flowing, and this way he realized, oh, Krishna is here, because he was always saying, where's Kanai, where's Kanai, where's my brother Kanai? And so then Nityānanda and Mahaprabhu met and embraced one another, fell to the ground unconscious. This is a beautiful, beautiful explanation and understanding of this, the first meeting of Nityānanda and Mahaprabhu. So we're very fortunate, and also Vrindavan Das Thakur gives a benediction to one who reads and hears this story of the first meeting of Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda. And very deep ecstasies, very deep praying will manifest in their hearts for the lotus feet of Nityānanda Mahaprabhu. So I'm fortunate to be in Navadvip and participate in some small offerings to Lord Nityānanda, begging him for his mercy. He's personally manifested before us the Kanda Guru Tattva. Our Gurudev, Sri Guru is a manifestation of Nityānanda Shakti, Nityānanda Prakash. We're so fortunate. It's boundless. So we pray on this day to our Gurudev, Guru Parampara, Lotus feet of Nityānanda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. Please bless us that our narcas may go and participate, and that this goal, this prayojan that Mahaprabhu has come to give, that will enter into our hearts. Through the medium of Nityānanda, he's giving us, broken the dam there was a blockage, but Nityānanda had broken it up, and now he's freely distributing it door to door to everyone. So we pray to Nityānanda to stay for his causeless mercy, which is just abounding from him like anything. So thank you very much. Sorry it took so long.
I request Sripad Ashram Maharaj to speak something about Sri Nityānanda Prabhu, as you like.
What did you speak before I came in?
Just talk about it. And the first verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Well, then I told the story of Krishna. You heard that.
Which stuff did you speak about?
In general, what is told in the 5th chapter. Overview.
Okay.
All the tattva of how he's the first expansion of Krishna and then expansion of all the tattva. How they create the universe.
Om Gyan Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunvitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Vanchakapatruvishtam Kripa Sandhya Patitana Bhavadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Go Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Swami Maharaj. Again, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto those feet of my sannyasi Shiksha Guru, Vishnu Padashva Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj. And offer my most respectful obeisances unto those feet of my Param Guru Dev, Nityānanda, Vishnu Raj. Astu Saraswata Shishmat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Nityānanda, Vishnu Raj. Astu Saraswata Shishmat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. I offer my most respectful obeisances unto all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavas, every five present Srimad sannyasis, Bhaktivedanta Padmanabha Swami Maharaj, Trayodaśī Maharaj. So,
just one quick thing on timing.
okay, tell me time.
Because they're serving prasad there. And also we're going to have at 4:30 this afternoon, we're going to have another session. And I'm also requesting that the two sannyasis can also come for that session and speak something. So, just to let you know.
So it's 12:53 now, what time should I?
No, it's up to you because
What time
they're
is it?
serving now.
Oh, they're serving?
Yeah, they're starting to
Okay,
serve.
let's give it 5 minutes. No problem. This afternoon I can't make it. The program.
Just 10 minutes.
5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, today, very, very most auspicious day. Shri Nityānanda Trayodaśī. That just as Baladev, he appears to serve Krishna. That Krishna is the 8th born, or the 8th child of Devaki. And before Krishna comes, then Baladev comes. And he prepares the Dham. The womb of Devaki is the holy Dham. And Baladev comes there, just as Anantashesh is a bed, and Anantashesh is laying down, and Vasudeva Krishna is resting on Anantashesh. So now Baladev comes in the womb of Devaki and prepares everything. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's explained that Baladev, that he's serving in, I think it says 11 different ways. So Baladev is known as Sevak Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of serving to God. That he is the Vaibhav Prakash of Krishna. He's not different from Krishna, only different complexion, and he's carrying some bugle instead of flute, but he's not different. In the same way, when Krishna comes in Kali Yuga, and he comes with the intrinsic mood of Srimati Radharani, and he comes to spread the glories of Harinam Sankirtan. That Krishna, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are 4 reasons. 2 are internal and 2 are external. The internal reasons are that he's come to taste the love of Srimati Radharani. Prem Ras Niyas Korite Ashwadam. And the second internal reason is the calling of the great Acharya. The 2 external reasons, those things that he's giving, he comes to give Ragman Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. He comes to give Ragman Bhakti, especially Samadvaita Unuti Jorahasa Swabhakti Sriyam. That love of Srimati Radharani, the beauty of the love of Srimati Radharani. And how he comes to give? Yuga Dhamma Paratayanam Nam Sankirtan. He comes to give through the agency of Nam Sankirtan. So, the 2 external reasons, giving Raghunath Bhakti and through Nam Sankirtan, and the 2 internal reasons, the first is tasting the love of Srimati Radharani, the greatness of the love of Srimati Radharani. happiness that she feels. And what's it?
Sweetness.
The sweetness. And then the second eternal reason is coming to greater charity. So, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to fulfill his purposes, then his chief assistant in helping him, in serving him, is Sri Nityānanda. So he's known as Sevak Bhagavan. It's explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Baladev, he is the predominant deity of Sandhini Shakti. Krishna is the predominant deity of Samvit, and Srimati Radharani of Ladini. So as Sandhini Shakti, Krishna, Baladev is giving the vision by which one can see and one can enter into the pastimes of Shri Radha Krishna, or Krishna and his associates. That without mercy, Heno Nityānanda Radha Krishna, without mercy of Nityānanda Bala, then it is not possible to get mercy or to enter into pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna. So we see that practically speaking in his pastimes, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave order to Lord Nityānanda that I want you to go and spread the glories of Harinam to all over. And Nityānanda, he came here to Surabhikunj, and here he established his Namaha movement. But Nitai, how he did, when Mahaprabhu gave him this message, this order, then it's explained that Nitai, he started traveling to Bengal, and he had his party, and he was performing Sankirtan, and he was performing such ecstatic Sankirtan that droves of people started to follow him. That children, they would leave home and they would just follow him. That devotees would become mad by the nectar coming from Nitai. That they would jump, I haven't read Chaitanya Bhagavad, they would jump on trees and then jump down, calling just mad kirtan. And then he came here to Navadvip and he established this. So in short, that this Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is under the guidance of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu, that in Kali Yuga, is stated that it is Sudasram Nama. It says that we should take shelter of chanting Maha Mantra. But in Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that actually one who also takes shelter of chanting the names of Nitai Gaur, that by chanting these names, then this will give one entrance into taking shelter of Harinam, taking shelter of Radha and Krishna, taking shelter of Vrindavan, and being able to follow the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada in one purport said that actually to follow the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, it means to absorb oneself in the Lit Madhav, Vidanta Madhav, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, exact quote. He said, but the general masses of devotees are not able to do this. And they're not even able to really chant Maha Mantra, because especially with the Maha Mantra, then there are so many offenses, specifically 10 offenses are there that can be committed, and this creates a problem. So said that by taking shelter of the names of Nityānanda and Gauranga and Panchatattva, that because Nitai and Gaur, Nitai Nam, Nitai Dham, Nitai Gun, that the qualities are such that they do not accept any offenses. Nitai Nam and Nitai Dham. That is it, Nitai, or Nitai Gaur Nam, Nitai Gaur Dham. They don't accept offenses. So it's very important that we take shelter of Nitai and Gauranga, and then by their mercy, then we'll be able to enter into worshipping God and Krishna, taking shelter of Harinam, and following the 6 Goswamis. So, time is up. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock in Mayapur, I'm going to speak extensively on this topic. So,
Where in Mayapur?
she knows, I don't know. Where is the place?
It's near that Maharaj, Raghu Maharaj.
Raghu.
It's above the store.
Yeah, it's above the store.
I asked Bon Maharaj to come actually.
Huh?
Oh, I asked Bon Maharaj, but he said he couldn't come. Oh, I thought it was somebody else. Sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay? You know the story? So we're going to speak a lot on this topic.
Almost at what time?
12 o'clock.
At 12.
Yeah.
So what time?
I don't know. No, they told me to speak only for 1 hour.
Okay. Okay, so just in completing, as I mentioned already, the devotees, we're having another program this evening. And we're going to be starting at about 4:30 with Kirtan here. Then at 5 we're going to start continuing to speak, because just as Maharaj said, there's so much to speak. So we'll be continuing with this topics of Lord Nityananda's transcendental pastimes. And there are so many nectar sweet pastimes that were enacted by Lord Nityananda that are mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Church, but especially Chaitanya Bhagavat, so much about his wonderful pastimes. So I want to bathe in that. And then tomorrow, maybe we'll also go over to Mayapur to hear Ashram Maharaj speak at 12 noon. That we have to discuss. So, okay. So Sri Nityānanda Prabhu ki jai, Sri Nityānanda Trayodaśī ki jai, Sri Nityānanda Rama ki jai, Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Jai Shri Navadvip Dhama ki jai, Ekachakra Dhama ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Gaura, Hari Gaura. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Supadikar Shri Shri Sundar Gandhar Hari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ji Ki Jai